Okay, here we go, color mixing. I have Ultramarine Blue, I have Burnt Sienna, I have Alizarin Crimson, and I have Sap Green. How many colors can I make with just these 4 tubes of paint? Well, first I'm going to start with the Ultramarine Blue. And the way I approach it is that I make each one of my blobs of paint, I get them going with water and I make them into a soupy consistency, similar to Campbell's tomato soup, for instance. And I try to get the paint all to have the same consistency. This way, no matter what brand I'm using, if I'm teaching and people have other brands of paint, it doesn't matter how much water you put in. I can't say only 2 drops and it's always 2 drops of water. It's not like that. It's what is the consistency. That's the thing that has to be the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to just put enough water. I can't tell you how much. It depends on your paints. But how much water do you need to get it to look like Campbell's tomato soup? And then that's how you should start mixing your colors together. All right, so here we go. We have Ultramarine Blue to start, and we're going to mix it a little bit at a time with Burnt Sienna. And what can we get? Beautiful grays. Grays we can use for rocks. Grays we can use for the trunk of a tree. We can have it a little bit of a bluish gray, a little bit of a brownish gray. It can look like Payne's gray. And then if you add a little more blue and maybe not as much water, you can almost get like a really dark gray, close to a black. And if you add a little bit more water, you can get a very light gray, maybe just for shading. I mean, imagine a rock wall using all these different shades. It would be very interesting. Here's some with a little bit of a lighter brown. And that's a way you can darken up your burnt sienna if you need. Okay, so now we're going to start mixing the Ultramarine Blue with the Alizarin Crimson. So here we go. So we're going to get a really beautiful purple just by slowly mixing. And if you notice, I'm mixing it, I'm grabbing little bits of paint from the edge of the blob of paint. Do you notice that? So I'm not totally mixing the blue right into the middle of the red. I'm kind of just grabbing a little bit, getting it more and more, either more and more red, Ultramarine Blue, more and more Alizarin Crimson. I'm just mixing a little bit at a time. So here we go. Okay, so we're going to get a nice wine color. Look at that. Or you can use this for grapes. You could use it for raspberry jam. I don't know. So here we're going to use it with more paint and less water. And there you go. You get a very, very dark burgundy. And then if you mix it with a little more Alizarin Crimson, we can get a nice maroon. Look at that. All these different colors. And you could use it for so many different things, even for, skin color, maybe even to shade some skin color. Okay, so anyway, now we're going to mix the Ultramarine Blue with the Sap Green. Now I use this a lot when I'm shading leaves. So, or if I'm doing bushes, I want to get that kind of darker green. So I just do that with Sap Green and Ultramarine Blue. I love that color in bushes, in leaves. I use it all the time in shadows on the grass. And so if I want to just make it a dark green, there you go. I could also add more water and it can be a light green. Here it picked up a little bit of the burgundy there, so it looks a little bit like olive green. But then I can just use Sap Green and it could be like where you have the sun hitting it. Now I'm mixing even more of the ultramarine blue, and I'm making almost like a black. Look at that. Gorgeous. So this is how I do my color mixing. And these are just 4 of the colors. I do it with all my colors. Happy painting!